Your complete attention!
Hey, everybody! Looky out here!
Let's go to the window. I'm wiggling both my ears at the same time.
Greetings, my friend.
Okay, let's get right to it. Obligatory spoiler warning. Alright. I shouldn't even have to do that, but some people are so friggin' stubborn. How have you not seen Citizen Kane? I'm not saying that you have to love it, because everyone has their own tastes and opinions and all that, but to have not even seen it? Are you mental? We can even go ahead and remove all of the cinephile pomposity, all of the artsy-fartsy, "Ooh, isn't Citizen Kane the best movie ever made? Isn't it just the height of artistic expression? Isn't it the epitome of cinematic excellence?" Listen, I get it. I get how annoying people can be when it comes to talking about this movie. That being said, I think it's ridiculous to go out of your way to avoid watching it. It's definitely worth checking out at least once. You know, just to experience it for yourself. Besides, this video isn't about the artistic merits of the movie. That shtick has been done to death. No, what we're discussing here is the insight the film provides in regards to the power of the media. In much the same way that Orwell's 1984 and Animal Farm were critiques of the world in which they were written, but also a timeless warning to their future audience, Citizen Kane offers a powerful social commentary that feels as relevant today as when it was released. On its surface, the movie tells a universal story of love and our desperate search for acceptance. But buried beneath Charles Foster Kane's tale of a broken heart are myriad themes that aim to uncover the ways in which propaganda is employed, on both a personal and systemic level, by those who control the media.
The establishment is the people that control the narrative.
It acts as a scathing indictment of news media, as well as a perfect example of propaganda itself, in that it was a film used as a personal attack. The main character of the story, Charles Foster Kane, is based on American newspaper publisher and politician William Randolph Hearst. He sold papers through the use of yellow journalism, using eye-catching headlines and sensationalized exaggerations to increase sales. Tabloids. It was basically the tabloids. The guy understood the allure of sex, violence, and corruption, and used that to build a media empire. And Orson Welles, along with screenwriter Herman Mankiewicz, knew how to use all of those things to target a dubious media mogul in what is more or less a spiteful pseudo-biopic. I'm not trying to defend Hearst here, folks. I mean, everything I've read about the guy paints him as a colossal dick, and I'm inclined to take that portrait at face value. But let's be honest, that's exactly what Citizen Kane was. An unofficial biopic that feels like a forefather of revenge porn. In the best possible way, of course. Alright, so as you may or may not be aware, Citizen Kane has a notoriously non-linear story that makes summarizing the narrative somewhat migraine-inducing. To avoid said migraines, I'm going to paint in some fairly broad strokes with this synopsis, but it should do the trick. You know, beggars can't be choosers and all that crap. If it's not good enough, well, I don't know. I mean, how about you just go watch the movie? Yeah? Okay? Cool. Here we go. On his deathbed, Charles Foster Kane whispers the word Rosebud, which is either the name of his childhood sled or the nickname of a Hollywood actress's clitoris.
Get out!
Sorry.
Or maybe it's both. Well, at least in terms of this story, it's a sled. That's the big mystery of the movie. Kane whispers Rosebud, everyone wonders what it means.
Get in touch with everybody that ever knew him. Oh, who knew him well.
It turns out to be the name of his childhood sled. The end. You see? This is what you get for not having watched the movie. I dropped a spoiler warning at the beginning of the video, and you had plenty of time to pause it and go watch the damn thing. This isn't my problem, this is on you, Chief. Charles Foster Kane's professional career is recounted in a newsreel. Dude was super rich. He had a massive property in Florida called filled to the tits with livestock. Fowl of the air, fish of the sea. Oh, wait a minute. Is that the octopus from Bride of the Monster? Kane was a newspaper tycoon, and at the height of his success had 37 newspapers, 2 syndicates, a radio network, grocery stores, paper mills, cruise ships, a gold mine, etc., etc., etc. Flippin' everything. His mother, Mary, lucked into some land that turned out to be worth a metric fuck ton of money. Naturally, she did what any good mother would do and immediately gave her only son away to some banker from New York.
Well, let's hope it's all for the best.
It is.
To be fair, she did it to give him a better life away from his abusive father, so yeah. Anyway, Kane grows up and eventually gains control of his fortune. He uses it to take over a newspaper and immediately starts making shit up to piss off Walter Thatcher, his banker, guardian, surrogate, father guy. I suppose it's also worth noting that all of this exposition is being revealed through an investigation by reporter Jerry Thompson. He was tasked with uncovering the meaning of Kane's last word, Rosebud, and the whole story is told through this lens. Thompson visits Mr. Bernstein, Kane's business manager, who recounts the early days of their journalistic endeavors. After taking over the New York Enquirer, Kane steamrolled its editor and began injecting his sensationalist quote-unquote news in order to increase circulation.
I've got to make the New York Enquirer as important to New York as the gas in that light.
Speaking of gaslighting, Kane made a promise to his readers with a declaration of principles.
You don't want to make any promises, Mr. Kane, you don't want to keep.
These will be kept.
It was meant to make Kane seem like he genuinely cared about the common man, but it was wildly at odds with the way he actually ran the paper. Kane used his fortune to poach the best journalists in town, specifically those who worked for rival newspaper, The Chronicle. His efforts proved fruitful, and the Enquirer became the largest paper in New York with a circulation of 684,000.
684,132!
Right.
After throwing an elaborate party to commemorate their success, Kane left for Europe on vacation. And when he returned, he was engaged to Emily Norton, the niece of the President of the United States.
President's niece, huh? Before he's through, she'll be a president's wife.
After wrapping up with Bernstein, Thompson heads to a retirement home where he interviews Kane's former best friend, Jedediah Leland,
I was his oldest friend, and as far as I was concerned, he behaved like a swine.
who tells the reporter about Kane's first marriage to Emily Norton and how it began to fall apart. And Leland reinforces a core motivation of his former friend. He wanted to be loved.
That's why he did everything. That's why he went into politics. It seems we weren't enough. He wanted all the voters to love him too.
Leland continues his remembrance, telling Thompson about how Kane met a young woman named Susan Alexander, and how they began having an affair. Later, during his gubernatorial election campaign against incumbent opponent Jim W. Geddes, his philandering is exposed. Emily received a note inviting her to Susan's apartment, where Kane and his wife were confronted by Geddes. He had discovered Kane's affair with Susan and threatened to leak the story.
What story?
Story about him and Miss Alexander, Mrs. Kane.
There isn't any story.
Shut up!
Unless his rival conceded the election, which Kane stubbornly refused to do. The affair went public and Kane's political career was torched. He lost the election, and his immoral behavior fractured his relationship with Leland.
As long as I can remember, you've talked about giving the people their rights, as if you could make them a present of liberty.
Not long after, Kane is divorced from Emily, who died in a car crash with their son soon after. So, the media tycoon celebrated by getting married to Susan, who happened to be an aspiring singer. But she absolutely sucked at singing, and no one wanted to hire her, so her super wealthy husband built her an opera house, which amounted to nothing more than lipstick on a pig. Susan's debut was panned by everyone, including the Enquirer's very own Jed Leland.
Miss Susan Alexander, a pretty but hopelessly incompetent amateur.
Go on.
That's all there is.
Unable to finish his own review due to crippling inebriation, Kane took over and finished the review as Leland had intended.
He thought that by finishing that notice, he could show me he was an honest man. He was always trying to prove something.
And then fired his best friend. Thompson interviews Susan, and she describes the aftermath of her singing career and what happened between Kane and Leland. Kane wasn't completely heartless about the whole situation. He tried to give Leland a payout, a check for $25,000, which Leland returned to him, torn to pieces, alongside Kane's
Declaration of Principles.
What? What is it?
And Susan was pissed. She never really had the passion to become a singer and wanted to give up after all of the negative press.
I'm the one that's got to do the singing. I'm the one that gets the raspberries.
But Kane forced her to continue, which ultimately led to her attempting to take her own life.
I couldn't make you see how I felt, Charlie. You don't know what it means to know that people are that a whole audience just doesn't want you.
It's their loss.
Finally able to see how Susan was affected by the pressure, Kane relented and permitted her to quit. They moved to Kane's vast estate in Florida, but Susan soon found herself bored out of her ever-loving mind.
49,000 acres of nothing but scenery and statues. I'm lonesome.
She became fed up with her husband, who never truly did anything for her, never gave her something that was truly his.
Whatever I do because I love you.
You don't love me. You want me to love you. Whatever you want, just name it and it's yours. But you gotta love me.
So she left him. In the end, as she was walking out on him, he still acted selfishly, still put his feelings and concerns before hers.
You can't do this to me.
I see. It's you that this is being done to.
Susan peeled out and Kane lost his shit. He threw a tantrum and broke everything he could get his hands on until stumbling across a snow globe. He pretty much died right after that, and I guess the snow globe reminded him of his childhood, of all the love he had lost in his life, and it broke his heart. Or some sentimental shit like that. You get the idea. Back in present day, Thompson and a bunch of other reporters gather at Kane's estate to collectively shrug their shoulders about Rosebud.
Did you ever find out what it means?
No, I didn't. What did you find out about him, Jerry?
Not much, really.
No one was able to figure it out. And while all of the journalists do what journalists do best, give up on a story without really getting to the bottom of it.
No, I guess Rosebud is just a piece in a jigsaw puzzle. A missing piece.
A random dude throws a sled into an incinerator. A sled named Rosebud. The end. There is a delicate balance between the utility of journalism as a tool for informing the public and its power as a mechanism for propaganda.
People will think.
What I tell them to think.
Citizen Kane explores the potential for abuse within mass media and how those with influence are able to manipulate the public to serve their own interests. And this isn't just some cinematic flight of fancy. Wells and Mankiewicz didn't write this as a fantasy. They weren't making everything up. They were critiquing the yellow journalism for which William Randolph Hearst was known, the news media propaganda that manufactured support for the Spanish-American War of 1898.
You provide the prose poems, I'll provide the war.
The news media propaganda that continues to influence countless issues. Just as Orwell's Animal Farm was a warning about the dangers of unchecked power and the ease of which revolutions can be corrupted, Citizen Kane is a warning about the dangers of influence and mass media, not just within the realm of journalism and politics, but in entertainment as well. Which brings us to Mank.
You cannot capture a man's entire life in 2 hours. All you can hope is to leave the impression in one.
A biopic focusing on screenwriter Herman Mankiewicz, who, as previously mentioned, co-wrote the script for Citizen Kane with Orson Welles.
I never thought one could care so much about a sled.
Directed by David Fincher and based on a screenplay written by his late father, Jack Fincher, Mank was released on Netflix in late 2020. And in a karmically hilarious and depressing turn of events, the film would pay homage to Mank in much the same way that Citizen Kane paid homage to William Randolph Hearst.
You're serious.
By fabricating vast amounts of the story to tell an ideologically driven narrative. In the movie's attempt at explaining Mank's disdain for Hearst, the Finchers inject a storyline about a man named Upton Sinclair, a socialist running for governor of California in 1934.
What is it the writer says? Tell the story you know.
I don't know that writer.
Mank is characterized as a closet supporter and opposed to Hearst's interference to sway the election, which leads to the death of a co-worker and friend. But the part about the friend that offed himself? Yeah, that never happened. Completely made up.
Don't believe everything you hear on the radio.
Oh, and Mank was a conservative who actually supported Sinclair's opponent. Which is weird, because the obvious reason Mank wasn't a huge fan of Hearst was because the former hated the National Socialist Party, while the latter was a supporter of the Führer. I mean, that seems like a pretty straightforward reason to oppose someone like Hearst, no? Seems straightforward to me. Weird that you wouldn't include that as the motivation instead of just making up some random shit.
Come again?
Unless, of course, you're trying to simplify a story to a black and white narrative while also attempting to gaslight viewers into believing socialists good, conservatives bad. Now, that couldn't possibly be what's going on here, could it? Oh my god, spoilers. Yeah, it is. It's unbelievably dishonest, politically motivated revisionism. It's also Netflix in the 2020s, so that clocks. And it is yet another reminder that